Hello again. It's been a few hours again, and honestly, it's nice to be back in the saddle temporarily. Phone, shut it. I know I'm live, I do not care. Actually, you know what? Shut. I know it's the same title as yesterday, but I couldn't be bothered to edit it and make it like a part 2. So I just decided to come back here and basically do this again because it felt good to do it last night. Felt nice. Just so I can see what the stream looks like. Okay. But yeah, let's just say yesterday was mostly rambling, which is not what I want to do, but I just wanted to empty my head last night. Since I'm not sure what else to do, really. I still feel completely out of it, and I'm honestly not sure what to do. I'm gonna be completely honest. Yesterday was mostly rambling, but I want to get stuff off my chest. One thing I want to start off with is yesterday I said that I don't even speak to my parents about my issues or how I feel, and mostly because first off, I don't feel like I can talk to, now I'm going parent specific, but if there's one parent I feel like I can't talk to about my issues, it's my mother, because we usually end up in an argument. Whenever I try to talk about how I feel and such, we usually end up in an argument, which is not what I want. I want to be able to tell how I feel, but no, I can't. And it's hard. And with my dad, we get along and such, but it's still like I find it hard to speak about my issues with people when I know that I should. Even to doctors or like psychiatrists, I put up the facade, whatever you want to say, I don't care. But it's a case of I do it to protect myself, and damn the consequences, something like that. Which is kind of annoying, to be completely honest. Because I want to be honest about things, but I can't find how do I say it properly? I can't find the strength to tell the truth. I would have been in the flight sim, in my flight simulator instead, but since I know my PC doesn't really like the flight sim, I decided to basically just open this instead. Simply I did get a message from a friend last night, or this morning when I woke up after I had streamed last night, and I haven't responded yet. Give me a sec. There we go. Sorry that I have one song on repeat, but it's a simple case of copyright. I don't have any other copyright or like royalty free music almost, so this is the one I have that fits the theme. And you can see it at the top left. It's kind of hard to find what I want to talk about, but at the same time I realize that I need to get things off my chest. I also want to clarify, I said yesterday that when I look myself in the mirror, I don't see myself. And I want to be more specific as to what I see instead. Which is, instead of seeing myself, I see a completely different person. I see almost a monster of sort, to be completely honest. And it's weird to say, but it's not something I want to see. I want to be able to look myself in the mirror, look at myself and say that everything's fine. But instead, I find myself avoiding the mirror or just saying, or like, God. Now I can't find the words again. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I don't see myself in the mirror. I see almost a monster, to be completely honest. Which is weird. And it's honestly not good. people around me keep saying I'm wonderful, but I don't see myself as wonderful. I see myself as a burden, not someone who should be called wonderful. And yet people call me wonderful. Wonderful, funny, any other word you can think of, but I don't see myself as that. I feel useless, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel completely useless. Which is not something I like. There we go. Honestly, I don't have many games that I can stream, so I'm just picking whatever at this point. Like, I also talked about things I want to do, and those things, one thing I want to do, I want to make a movie of sorts, but I don't have the resources, funds, or anything to be able to make what I want to make, if that makes sense. Which is weird, because I feel so out of it with life in general. It's weird in a way. I also want to make car videos. I want to make car videos and upload to the channel, but I feel weird And every time I feel like I want to do something, it never ends up happening. It's so awkward. And it's a case of I want to tell the truth, but I can't find the strength to do that. Which is really weird. I know I'm not talking much, and to be completely honest, most of the stuff I wanted to say I did get out last night, but I felt like I'll do it again just because I want to clarify stuff. But yeah, I'm actively losing it. It's odd, in a way, to talk about things. Yeah, I know I did the same thing last night, but I felt like doing it again. Because it kind of helps with things. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure what to do with myself or anything, to be completely honest. I'm completely unsure of what to do with myself. Both mentally and physically. But yeah, to be completely honest, I feel like I'm losing it. And I feel like the best thing I can do is talk about it. For once, instead of ignoring it like I mostly do. I feel out of it in a way. And I don't know what to do, to be completely honest. I feel like a broken record at this point, but I feel like I have to be in a way. I know you don't probably care about what I think at all, which is completely fine. Because honestly, I'm not even sure what the fuck I'm saying at this point. God, I wish I had a snack right now. Yesterday I meant to be more coherent, but it ended up being just a long rant instead. Which was not my intention. Let's see how the flight sim performs. Everything feels off. Nothing feels normal. And if you think of my mood as a scale of God, now I sound awful, but what if you take my mood and have it as a scale? God, now the volume of the sim is gonna go up horrifically, so I'm gonna pause the music temporarily. If you look at my mood as a scale of -10 to +10, I am on the minus side a lot with my mood and such at the moment. Like, let's say you're a normal person without dysthymia or chronic depression in general, or depression in general. Your scale is usually up to, like, let's say a +1 is a really bad day for a normal person. On my scale, for me, that is a really good day. But I'm always... These days, I feel like I'm on a minus... I'm on -7, 8. If I'm gonna be completely honest, sometimes during the day I can go down to like -10. And that is not something I like very much. I wish I could stay around 0 at least, so that I have some positivity. But no, I'm always below the norm, so to speak. I know what I'm saying possibly sounds awkward or weird, but it's the most normal I can get things to sound, if that makes sense. I feel awkward, I feel out of place, and on the topic of that from last night, when I said that, what I mean is I feel like I'm born in the wrong decade almost. And I also feel out of place in general, basically. But it's a case of I feel so out of place that I feel like I should just be gone. And that is also really weird. I wonder where would we like to fly? This music is way too upbeat for me. I'm also lowering the game in general because engines do tend to get pretty loud. Such. Okay, there we go. Let's fly something small. Let's fly something small. Let us fly a... Let's go with a... Oh, what should I go with? Now that I'm actually sitting here, I'm wondering what I should go with. Also depends on my config, which is currently a dual engine. Let's go with a Embraer E121. Sounds good enough for me. Let's take off from the local airbase. Take off at 10 in the morning. That sounds about right. God, this stream is gonna become awful for a little bit as the thing is loading in. But hey, that's how my things usually go to shit. I'm expecting it all to come crushing down on me. Sorry for that clicking, but that is my throttle quadrant where I turned off a few things. Okay, now it's gonna become an issue because it's focusing on the wrong thing. Why has it decided to do that? Okay, this took some convincing of the sim. Not the sim, it took some convincing from the thing. Now I have no idea what my audio is like. There we go. Everything feels smooth for now. Sounds like the engines are spinning up. Shut. I said shut. Okay, there we go. So that thing's booting up as well now. That is absolutely great. Lovely. Oh, the AC is not on. Okay.
Satina's ground Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima request taxi for takeoff departing straight out.
Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima taxi to and hold short of runway 11 using taxiway Delta Echo. Contact tower on 128.2 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 11 using taxiway Delta Echo Kilo Romeo Lima.
What is going nuts? Okay, let's hope everything goes well. Taxi runway 11.
Satinas Tower Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima ready at runway 11 departing straight out.
Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima, wind 115 at 8. Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 11.
Cleared for takeoff runway 11 Kilo Romeo Lima.
Okay, I'm not sure what to say at all. Like, I just want to... I want to be able to function normally, without problems. But I can't. Not with my mental state, anyway. I'm not sure what to personally say. But I feel like I want to say something, but I can't. Give me a moment. Okay, now I'm here again.
Kilo Romeo Lima, leading my airspace, frequency change approved.
It's still a case of I don't know what the fuck to do with my life.
Kilo Romeo Lima frequency change. Satinas approach Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima is timed 3 miles northeast of Satinas 2,200 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
And I feel miserable. This is one of the few things I still enjoy doing. Flying in flight sim. Even though that doesn't really say much about me at all. And to be completely honest, it's one of the few things I still enjoy doing. I know it sounds dumb, but I'm beating myself up. And I have always done. Even though I shouldn't. But I do anyway because I can't bother. I find it hard to talk to people about my problems, and that's why I'm just saying it into the air, saying it into the ether, basically, just to get it off my chest. With no thought, I'm just rambling. The first thought that pops into my head, which I know I shouldn't do, but I do anyway. Just because I want it out of my head, into the open, whatever. Just get it over with. And it sounds weird to say. It feels awful to say how I feel and what I'm feeling, but at the same time, it's important to speak about your problems, which is the hard part for me, because I'd rather keep my problems to myself rather than tell others about my problems. And that is the most annoying part about me, I feel, is that instead of taking care of the problems, I find myself isolating myself from others a lot more. I remember just comparing to a couple of years ago, even. A couple of years ago, I was engaged. I spoke to friends every single day almost, but today, I'm silent. I don't speak at all. And the few times I do speak, which are like maybe once, at most 3 times a week. When it comes to friends, that is. And that is something I don't like. I want to go back to a few years ago where I was speaking to friends, keeping in contact and such. I want to go back to that. But I find it hard to do. But at the same time, I realize that it's something I need to do. And it's the most annoying thing knowing that you have isolated yourself to the point where you realize that you need to get in contact with people, keep in contact with them, but instead you procrastinate, you isolate, you barely speak to people, which is the weirdest thing. And it feels awful. It feels awful ignoring my issues. I know I need to deal with them, but at the same time, I can't find the strength to do it. So it becomes a case of, yeah, I know what I need to do, but I'd rather just sit and completely ignore my issues. Which I find bizarre, weird, whatever. But I feel like I need to keep myself somewhat sane. God, what else? As I said earlier, I want to make stuff and upload to the channel, but at the same time, I don't have the resources or economy for it. The motivation is basically gone in my head, but I have the idea every single day. I even made back in 2021, 2022, I made a small movie almost. And God, it was awful. It was god awful, but it was the best I could make at the time. And I feel like I'm I feel like I'm letting myself down a lot. I feel like I let other people down. I feel like I'm a burden to people, and I don't feel a sense of belonging, like I said. And that is the hardest part for me, to be honest. What I'm trying to oh God, shut the fuck up. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not asking for sympathy or anything. I'm not even asking you to listen to my fucking ramblings. I just want to vent into the ether about my issues, since I'm unable to do something here where I am. Even though no one watches these, no one's ever gonna see these, I guess. I know I'm live and such, but no one's ever gonna see it. No one's ever gonna care. And in my brain, in my head, it even goes to the length of, would people even realize that I've disappeared if I ever were to disappear? Which, it's one of those thoughts that it's not normal to have, but those are thoughts I have every single day, and I can't find someone, or basically I don't feel safe talking about it anywhere. Not with family, not with friends, anyone really. So I just keep fucking pushing, and fucking pushing. And just hoping that at some point it will all disappear. Even though I realize that's a hard thing to make happen. I want to feel happy. I want to be able to feel happy with something I know I'm never gonna truly feel. I feel off completely. I'm still I feel unfamiliar with speaking about my problems like this, but at the same time I feel like I have to do something, otherwise I'm just gonna go mad. So that's why I'm sitting here talking, when in reality I shouldn't even... God, it feels weird to say it, but I still want to say it and clarify that I don't want to put my burden on other people. No matter what they say, I still don't feel right putting my problems into the open, but I do it anyway because I just feel like I need an outlet to speak, and I feel like streaming and doing what I like is one of the few ways I can get that done. If that makes any sense at all. Which I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but that is all I can think of. God. Sometimes I wish there were more people that could see these or hear me, but at the same time I realize you can't get everything in this world. While at the same time, it's like society doesn't even care about how people feel nowadays. And most... God. Trends today are so fucking awful. And now I'm starting to go outside myself. What the fuck am I seeing? What in the name of fuck? What the fuck did I just see? I hope to God that was a glitch. Let's go EG PH. Yeah, let's go activate. But yeah, I feel weird even talking about my issues here when I should talk to a professional or something, but I feel like they don't give a single shit about what you say. I feel like an outcast no matter what, to be completely honest. This is not something I want to feel, but that is how I truly feel. This is not a good feeling, it doesn't feel right. I feel out of place, I feel like I don't belong. It's weird to say. It feels weird to say the least.
11 miles west of Satinas, 1,300 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
God, I feel so out of it, and I don't feel like I should even be here speaking about things, but I am anyway because I feel like I need to.
Squawk tree 576M, Kilo Romeo Lima.
Which, sure, I realize it doesn't make any sense, but I feel like I want to vent. I want to get my thoughts out, and I feel like I don't feel I feel like I have nowhere else to turn, basically, to get my thoughts out. And again, yesterday's and today's are just ramblings. Like, there's no consistency in what I'm saying, and I'm realizing that too. But at the same time, I just say the first thing that comes out of my head. Which, to be honest, it feels nice, but I also feel like I need to be cautious about what I'm saying. And also, I talked about Alt F4ing, or trying to Alt F4 in the past. Or at least I touched on it a small bit last night, but generally, back in elementary school, I legitimately tried to Alt F4 myself, or delete myself from God's server, basically. Basically, tried to delete myself from God's Minecraft server. I know I'm using a lot of terms from the Australian guy that makes animal videos, or like videos about animals, shorts. I know I'm taking quotes from that channel. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but he is pretty funny, to be honest. He has a creative way to describe animals that I really like. But to get back on point, I have actually tried back in elementary school, as far as elementary school, tried to delete myself from God's Minecraft server. I have even tried running away from home as well when I was a kid. These days, if I wanted to, I could just take my car and go, but at the moment, it's a case of financials which keeps me here. And other things, but for the most part, I would say that if I really wanted to, I could genuinely just take my car and leave. Take the most essential things with me and just go. And the thing is, in my head, I always come back to leaving without a destination, just leaving, seeing where the wind takes me and such. Which is honestly what I want to do. God, this plane is loud, even with lowered settings. I can see the volume spike. Which in and out of itself is not a good idea, to be completely honest. But yeah. One thing I would love to do in the future, one thing I want to do, is join the Air Force, but I realize I need really good grades for that. which I do not have at all. And I know I'm not saying much, or the things I'm saying don't make sense, which surprisingly most of the things I say don't, but I try to make sense.
Now Kilo Romeo Lima contacts Malvo Center on 118.0. Good day.
Oh god, it feels so weird speaking about my issues.
Malmo Center now Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima 9,800 feet. Now Sierra Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima Malvo Center diameter 30.41 radar contact continue.
It feels odd to speak about my issues, but I feel like I have to. God, this feels like such a stupid thing to do. But at the same time, I want to. And it's such a weird thing because I want to do stuff, but I know it's probably hard to do things. At least think about it. I feel off, and I feel that I'm doing something wrong by even streaming right now. Like, I talked a little bit about the road trip I did earlier this year to Norrland, or northern end of Sweden, and genuinely I want to do that again, even though that would be the third time I've done it. But honestly, I want to do it again. I want to go, I want to do it, I want to have fun, do my thing. But at the same time, I have even thought about moving up there just to get away from things. Which is weird to say, but genuinely I feel like I don't belong. Like I said yesterday, and I've said today as well, I don't feel a sense of belonging at all. I feel like it would be better if I simply disappeared, never to be seen again. Which is not a mentality that you normally have, or thoughts that you think of a lot, but for me that has become a regular mindset. In my head, that has become a regular mindset. I'm on antidepressants as well, but I don't feel any different from taking them. I'm doing it anyway just to hopefully feel something from it. But I don't. God, that is loud, but at the same time I need to check something. And there we go. Now we're back to 2992. Standard barometric pressure above 18,000 feet. Which is good. Of course, he's in VR as well. Great, lovely. Forgot I had those pop-ups turned on. God, I feel awful for talking. But at the same time, I feel like I had to get things off my head that I otherwise would just keep in there for no reason. But yeah. I feel like it. Yes, it's a part 2. I forgot to edit the I forgot to edit the title before I closed the web browser down just to get the best bandwidth I could possibly get. And I'm not able to do that. I'm not able to do it in OBS, I believe. Oh, it actually opens a small tab for me. Great. Lovely, I don't have to worry about that. There we go. That is part 2 added to the title. So that is good. Now that has been done. But yeah, I feel weird. I feel awful. And yes, I know it's just rambling again for no reason. I already rambled a lot yesterday, but I felt like I want to do it again and try to be more coherent, which I feel like I have failed miserably at for this stream as well. I feel like I have been miserable at being coherent. I feel like I've just been rambling the first thought that enters my head, which is what usually happens. God. I will be back in a bit. I need to step away from the stream for a couple of minutes, but I will be back. Okay, hello, I am back. I was just downstairs brushing my teeth. Because I felt like I need to do that. Oh shit.
Going to 118.55 now, Kilo Romeo Lima.
That was accidental.
Echo, Kilo Romeo Lima, flight level 205.
Yeah, everything is weird to me. I feel out of it. I feel unnatural. If you choose to believe that. It's weird to say how I actually feel, but I feel like I have to. Another thing I want to pick up is I'm gonna be weird, but generally I just feel like a mess. And I feel like no matter what I do, it's wrong. I feel like anything I do is wrong, which is something I don't like. Even good things feels wrong to me. Which is honestly not fun. And God, I know I have friends that are watching as well, and to them, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm sorry for not being honest about my mental health or how I'm feeling, but I always feel like I'm outcast in social situations, so I feel like it's better to not show people how I'm actually feeling, how I'm doing, which is not a good thing, to be completely honest. It's one of the less good or like worse things you can do, because if you have friends, you should be open to them about how you're doing, how is your health and such. But I find that part really hard to believe because I feel like I'm putting my burden on someone else, which I don't like. I personally prefer just keeping it to myself, even though I realize that it's not the best approach to deal with mental health, anxiety, social anxiety, and such like that. But it's a case of just wanting to blend in and try not to stir up problems. I feel like I'm fucking madman because I keep repeating the same thing over and over again, but I'm just saying the first thought that gets in my head. Why is my stream doing that? I need to change that. I cannot change that while streaming. Great, lovely. Okay, so for next time, if I'm running a game in less than 50 FPS, don't keep OBS at 60 because it looks really weird. Flight Sim, for an example, that I'm running now goes at maximum 30. And I realize I should probably set my OBS to that as well, but that is something I cannot do while streaming, and I don't want to stop the stream, fix that, and go back up just for that one issue. I feel like it's better, like, take it as a lesson for next time. Even though everything's running smoothly, it's still a case of it's not optimal, is what I'm realizing. But yeah, back to issues at hand. Another thing that I feel like I should be more open about, or another area I feel like I should be more open to people, is with mental health experts, or like with with my psychiatrist, with doctors, anything like that. But no, I just decide to be quiet, a quiet little bitch, and keep saying everything's fine when clearly it's fucking not. I am losing it. I feel like I'm crossing the Rubicon almost. Basically, passing the point of no return. And I feel like everything's just going downhill more and more for every day that passes. And that is something I don't really... God damn it, I didn't mean to do that. God, having a cold sucks, but it's manageable. But yeah, I'm not feeling well at all. And I feel like this is the only way I can truly speak about my issues. I feel so out of it. I'm I'm not myself. I'm not happy. I'm more or less miserable. I want to be able to tell people that I'm happy when they ask, "How are you doing?" I want to be able to say that truthfully and not just have it as a lie just to avoid questions. And there's one question I get from my parents sometimes that I'm like, I don't know how the fuck to answer that. And that question is, how can we help? What can we do to help you feel better? And my honest and truthful answer to that question is, I don't know. I don't even know how to help myself. Which is difficult as hell. It's really difficult. And struggling like this with mental health is not good. Especially not chronic depression. That's a real son of a bitch. But at the same time, it's a case of I want to get help. I want to try to be happy. Try to work on myself. Lose weight, be happy, whatever. But that is something I'm unable to do with my current status. And asking for help in help in Sweden, at least when it comes to mental health, from my experience, it's useless. Because all they want to do is they don't try to help you. Whenever I have been to a psychiatrist or mental health expert, it has always been a case of I don't feel welcome. I feel ignored. I don't feel like I'm being listened to. I feel like they're just there for their paycheck. They don't actually care. And another thing, they offer like cognitive God. They offer something called, or the acronym in Swedish is KBT. But the thing is, at least the region I live in don't have one-on-one sessions. They only have group sessions. They don't offer one-on-one sessions, which is awful because I genuinely don't like it. I would prefer if it was one-on-one. I haven't tried group sessions, but I know that it's not something I'm interested in because I know I will got hearing other people's issues is something I can't do, because then I will take it personally almost. I will take it personally, and other people's issues affect me, if that makes sense. I think the term for it, if I am not mistaken, is cognitive behavioral therapy or something like that. But don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. But they offer that, in group sessions only where I live, which is such a dumb thing, because I want to be able to speak to someone, but I don't feel listened to. I feel like they're just there to collect their paycheck and ignore what you're saying. God, I just smacked the mic. That was awful. I don't feel listened to. And I don't know where to turn to feel listened to. If that makes any sense. I know I'm just a broken record at this point, but genuinely, the idea of simply disappearing is becoming more and more pronounced in my head, and it scares me because I am honestly afraid that I will act on those thoughts at some point in the near future if I don't do something about it. Which, to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if I did try to do it. It sounds stupid. God, I feel stupid. I feel like my thoughts are not making sense. Even though I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm trying to make things work, but it's getting difficult to keep myself together. It's difficult to talk about issues because I don't have a solution in my head. And it's as I said earlier, my parents ask me the question whenever we talk, what can we do to help you feel better? But I don't even know the answer to that question. And that's the hard part for me, because I want to feel better, but I don't know how to proceed to make that happen. Jesus Christ, that spiked the mic. I know people are not gonna see this, and if they do, they probably won't care. And I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not even asking for people to listen. All I'm doing is speaking my mind in the best way I can. But my mental health is getting to the point where I'm just like, every morning I wake up, I'm like, I don't even want to get up. I just want to die. I just want to die there in bed. Like, basically, in my bed, I just want to God, it's so hard to say, but I just want to disappear. I want to be forgotten. Which is something hard to say outright, but I realize that I'm just speaking my mind. And I know it's becoming the same rant as yesterday, but I feel like I want to say it anyway. God, it feels weird. God, everything feels out. Oh, I'm just off the coast of Norway, okay. I'll just end the stream here and possibly stream again in the near future. Even though it's probably not going to be any different from the last two. Probably just going to be rambling my random thoughts out into the ether again. But it feels good to do it, but at the same time, I need to do something with myself. So I will end the stream for tonight and possibly stream again sometime in the future. Unless I alter for myself before then. Which hopefully I do not. But anyway, see you guys next time.